Industrial Talk is brought to you by Armis. Yes, you are in the digital transformation game. Yes, you need to find trusted companies, trusted individuals to help you along with that journey. The Armis platform delivers complete asset intelligence. You know what that means? Insights into your connected assets. You're in the digital transformation game, you have to have that insights into what is connected. Go to armis.com, find out more. You will not be disappointed. Also, Industry IoT Consortium. At Industrial Talk, we always talk about education. We always talk about collaboration. We're always talking about innovation. And if you're a business that has any desire to be resilient to the future, you need to be able to educate, collaborate, as well as innovate with other industry professionals. That's a must. Industry IoT Consortium brings that all together. You need to be a part of this community. You need to be connected with these leaders that are all a part of the Industry IoT Consortium. Go out to iiconsortium.org, find out more. Again, you will not be disappointed. You're just going to be happy. Hey, and welcome back to Industrial Talk. Thank you very much for joining. We were on site at the IoT Solutions World Congress, Barcelona, Spain. And you need to put that event on your bucket list. Plan for it in 2023 because it's an incredible venue with incredible professionals solving problems. And that, if you want to listen to the other interviews, they're all out on Industrial Talk. Now, in the hot seat this time, his name is Mark Sage. He is the executive director at Augmented Reality for Enterprise Alliance, or AREA. And we're talking about how augmented reality will be impacting your business, the future of manufacturing, industry, and everything in between. It's an exciting time, and of course, we're all about that education. We're all about that collaboration and definitely innovation. This conversation is dead center. Now, think about becoming a part of the Industrial Talk ecosystem, because then you get to hang out with Mark Sage and many others. So enjoy this conversation on augmented reality. All right, hot seat, Mark Sage. He's going to lay down some sage advice. I had to do it. In Augmented Reality Enterprise Alliance. Let's get cracking. There you go. How you doing?
Perfect. Nice to meet you, Scott.
It's the pleasure's all on this side of the mic. Absolutely. So, how long you been here at this conference? You just sort of arrived?
Just flew in this afternoon, gave a talk, and flying back out.
God, you're a globetrotting, trend-setting type of guy. All right, let's for the listeners out there, Mark Sage, give us a little background, where you come from, and then we're going to talk about augmented reality, because that is a cool topic.
And it certainly is a cool topic. Thanks, Scott. So I've been around in the mobile business for about 15 years, working for various different operators, and ended up that kind of work running some global alliances looking to compete with the likes of the Apple iPhone, iOS, and Android kind of operating system, and just loved the idea of running alliances where you're bringing different parts of the ecosystem together to try and solve some real business problems. And then had the massive opportunity of running the AREA.
So define for the listeners in general, what is augmented reality?
Yeah, certainly. So I like to think of a continuum. We're normally in the real world. We spend most of our time in the real world, thankfully.
Some people more than others.
Absolutely. On the other end of the spectrum is the virtual world. So we've heard of and seen films and kind of understand virtual reality. You're completely in a virtual environment. There's nothing real in there. Augmented reality is basically putting digital content on top of the real world. So you're still in the real world, but you're able to see that digital content in different forms and different guises.
See, that's a hell of a definition, because I think that there's confusion with, there's an overlap between augmented reality and virtual reality. I think that that's a great way of being able to define it. Okay, so you're here, Augmented Reality Enterprise Alliance. Give us a little 411 or background. You don't have 411.
No, not in the UK.
Oh, what do you have for information if you want to dial something?
Google.
Jeez. Yes, it's Google. So give us your Google about this area.
The pitch, Scott, the kind of very simple what we're trying to do. It's a global organization helping to accelerate the adoption of enterprise AI. So in its long form, AI Enterprise Alliance, global membership, not-for-profit alliance, dedicated to helping accelerate the adoption of enterprise AI by creating a strong ecosystem. Lots of words.
It's true, but you know, I've been very fortunate to understand a lot of people are using ecosystem, and therefore I'm using the word ecosystem, and we are creating an ecosystem too, but mine's more to sort of revolves around gin and tonics. No, so this is global, nonprofit, great adoption of, but it's augmented. So you popped in AI, right? No.
Probably my English accent. It was definitely AR.
See, it is. See,
Right.
yeah. So note to that,
Yeah.
listeners, it's still AR, which I guess I wasn't sharp enough to put it together, but that's okay. Last interview, I can make those mistakes.
Absolutely. But you bring up an important part,
Yeah.
to be honest, because the bottom line, and you've mentioned it in your introduction, it's about solving real business problems. So it could be a combination of IoT data coming out of different solutions and of different parts. AI might be involved by making some sense out of that content, turning it into information. AR, augmented reality part, is really about being able to show and view and work with that content. It's that kind of visual layer on top of it.
So, and I get it. I think it's very good, and I think that in the real world, if I had a series of assets out in the field, whatever, and let's say I have this sort of digital twin solution, then I can also put in a sort of a augmented reality type of component to that, and really from my desk have a real insights into the operations of my assets and be able to make good decisions, tactical decisions that are truly beneficial and timely.
Absolutely, and strategic decisions as well.
Strategic.
Yeah.
Yep.
So if we look at a couple of simple use cases, that's kind of I tend to focus on the problems that can be solved. So, yeah, again, using digital twin potentially, but one of the things you could be is I want to create a new manufacturing line. I need to bring in.
Oh, that's a use case. Yeah.
Well, and this is all about
Go ahead. Sorry, as I walk all over you because I'm a professional. No.
So it's about the kind of visualization. So if you have a new manufacturing line, you may need to bring that up really quickly. You may need to bring new equipment into the building. Now, again, using digital twin and AI, you can actually walk around and see if this will fit, if it's going to go around bends and stuff like that. So you can visualize the space you're in and use AI to understand the most effective way to get those assets in. That's one very kind of simple, not simple, but very useful use case. I would say where the industry is at the moment, we're doing a lot more, and because of COVID as well, but the remote assist is the big use
it's
case.
huge.
Yeah, and companies are making real return on investment, investing in this technology, because they don't have to have people traveling when something breaks down, maintenance, stuff like that. You don't have to travel everywhere. The CO2 emissions are reduced, and basically the person with the problem in front of them is speaking to an expert anywhere in the world, anytime, and that expert's putting that digital overlay on what that individual needs to do to solve the problem.
See, I think that there were good and bad things that took place in COVID. The good is that I think it's accelerated the solutions like this and others, and I don't think it's ever going to go back.
I absolutely agree. And I think one of the kind of challenges, some of the barriers to adoption, we call, in AI, you have something called pilot purgatory. It's just stuck in pilot the whole time. You keep going around and they're trying to look at ways of leveraging it and using the technology. Well, remote assistance was a great way. And because they had to suddenly think about, we need to think about the network. We're going to have a limited number of people actually on the manufacturing floor. How do we make sure that the downtime is reduced? So networking was much better, remote assistance, all these kind of tools that are needed to allow companies to be better digitized. once they've done that, there's a whole bunch of other solutions using these other technologies we talked about.
It doesn't stop.
No.
Because I find that companies that have been in this sort of journey, who have said, yes, we need to be in it. Yes, it's painful. Yeah, I get it. But we need to be there, are in better position today because they went through that sort of gauntlet and they're able to have a more resilient type of business. And once again, never going back.
No, and to be honest, to stay competitive in the global market, they have to do these things. You can't be, an old traditional company. I've seen them and I've been in them where they're pushing, PCs up and down the floor, kind of maintenance, looking at old 3.1 Windows screens with maps and diagrams, and it's got the longest LAN cable in power. You just cannot be in business with that today. So they need to look at this new technology and what they need to do to digitize, to do that digital transformation.
And I think the message is resonating. I think that I think with your alliance here, I think, and it's with OMG too, right?
Yeah, absolutely. It's probably worth me, Scott, just explaining a little bit about who's members of the alliance, just to give you an idea. And just the kind of higher level, there's 3 different segments. So there's the companies that are deploying the technology. So it comes like Boeing and Medtronic and Welsh Water and Rockwell. So these companies are out there, they're doing it within their own environment. So they're learning a lot and being able to bring that knowledge back in. Then there's another group of the providers of the technology. We tend to, in the AR bit space, separate that into hardware providers. So the Microsofts, the Magic Leaps, and RealWear, and a whole bunch of other device providers. And then the software providers as well. And then the third group, we have a bunch of non-commercial organizations. So things like government agencies, research institutes, universities, and standards organizations. And when you bring all of that melting pot together, kind of knowledge across a whole bunch of different subjects, it becomes really strong. People are learning from each other, developing best practice. They're not making the same mistakes that they could have potentially do without speaking to and learning from other people. And then we layer on a bunch of kind of content or information that they can use. So, we focus on some of the barriers to adoption, things like security, safety, human factors, and creating anything from infographics to playbooks to really detailed research on anything from ROI calculators to what does 5G and AR doing, to looking at human factors and best practice and a whole bunch of different things. So it's that kind of melting pot of knowledge, conversation, best practice that really helps drive the successful implementation.
I don't know how you succeed in this IoT world, this industry 4.0 without a collaborative type of model, because I just don't see it.
I think you're absolutely right. And I think the companies that realize that, you need to understand where you need to compete and then where you need to work together. And I think the companies that started to understand that are the ones leading this kind of technology. And to be honest, will be in a much better position 2, 5, 10 years time, because they've made this journey now. The other ones are going to struggle to pay catch up.
Yeah, no, you're spot on. You can't be. I mean, this is so important, and listener, you just don't be prideful. You need to be a part of organizations like this. You just do, and you need to contribute. You need to. You might have something valuable for, people to succeed. I think that's it's imperative.
Yeah, and I think when people have gone through to deploy this technology, because there's also a big human element to it.
It's all human. Come on, you know it is.
Yeah, but people think it's like, we're just deploying another set of kind of tablets or mobile phones. Like, actually, that's the worst thing you can do.
Yeah.
You're dealing with people that are actually doing work. Now, if you work with them at the very start, understand what their problems are and how this technology can help them, they are going to be the biggest advocates of it. If you say to them, right, here's AR, put this wearable device on and start doing your work, your project will fail, or it's likely to fail, because these people have, suddenly gone, well, you're doing something, I don't know if I need it, I haven't been involved, I don't like it. There's that kind of natural reaction, which is unfortunate, but it's
sadly, but it's a common tale.
It is, yeah.
It is, because I wasn't a part of the conversation, but I think you've got a great alliance here. I think that it's really important. I think you're pulling in the right people, right organizations, right companies to be able to come up with the sort of a roadmap that people need.
Yeah, no, thank you. And I think,
it's that legacy.
And you're right. And as we develop that, the next kind of part is around interoperability and standards. So as the industry matures, the technology matures, companies are looking for that kind of standards development. That would be something
they have to. Because it's all about humans and trust. Do I trust? And an organization like this, it just naturally is trusted because you've got plenty of companies putting value into it. And I like that. All right. How do people get a hold of you, Mark?
They can look at the area website, www.thearea.org, or my email is mark@thearea.org.
I'm digging the fact that you got that URL.
I go there a lot, quite often, so I know it well. There's a huge amount of content. If people are interested and want to have a look, go and have a dig around there. It's not always easy to find stuff because there's so much there, and we're working on that. But we want to be a resource for everybody. All right,
that's Mark Sage. The organization is Area or Augmented Reality. See, I'm trying. Old eyes. Nope. Augmented Reality for Enterprise Alliances. More now. Anyway, that was fantastic, my friend. Thank you for being flexible. We just ran into each other and you were ready to go. Look at that. Called you on the spot. You're a professional. If this whole augmented reality thing, you got a good profession in podcasting. All right, listeners, IoT Solutions World Congress, that's where we're broadcasting. It is in Barcelona. Excellent organization. You need to get involved. So thank you very much. We will have another great conversation shortly, so stay tuned.
You're listening to the Industrial Talk Podcast Network.
All right, once again, thank you very much for joining Industrial Talk, and a hearty thank you to Mark Sage. What a great opportunity to interview him, to have that conversation on augmented reality at the IoT Solutions World Congress. How about them apples? The future's bright. And at Industrial Talk, we're always, I guess I always harp on it. Because I'm so passionate about the need for industry to educate, to collaborate, and to innovate. And here's Area. Here's Mark Sage. He embodies all of that. He's constantly educating. You go out to his stat card out on LinkedIn, reach out to him. And you can see the articles that he just produces about augmented reality, how that's going to positively impact your life. It's an amazing thing. And he's also about collaboration because Area is a collection of individuals and companies that have a passion to try to really bring that augmented reality to your enterprise. It's going to happen. You might as well be involved and engaged and collaborate. And then it's just going to continue to be innovative. And it's an exciting time. And it's such an honor to have that conversation with Mark Sage. And of course, many at the IoT Solutions World Congress. And again, put that on your bucket list. It's a must-attend event. Even though Mark flew in and flew out, he's a busy guy. But anyway, they're talking about all of that at IoT Solutions World Congress, and then some. And again, I'm just the guy that sort of, hey, I'm bringing a six-pack of beer and having a grand old time, and I get to soak up. You're coming to learn with me, so I get to soak up all that education. All right, we're going to have to just call it an interview. Be bold, be brave, dare greatly. I say that all the time. You got to be. Industry's that. But you got to hang out. You got to collaborate with people like Mark Sage, and you're going to continue to change the world. Thank you very much for what you do. We're going to have, as you know, I've got many more conversations at the IoT Solutions World Congress. So stay tuned. There's more to come.